Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mary Jo Coulehan. I'm the Executive Director of the Pagosa Springs Chamber of Commerce, and we're here for our Wednesday live stream. It is our special COVID edition on Wednesdays. And I'll tell you, this week, as usual, we have a lot of updates and changes. Of course, the biggest news is that restaurants and day camps can open starting today, actually. So we also hope that we have a special guest with us today from the hospital, Jody Scarpa. We're having some technical difficulties, so we hope that Jody is with us. There we go, and we'll be able to hear her today. So first and foremost, for our restaurant community, we can open restaurants today at a capacity of 50% of their fire code attendance, or up to 50 people. Now, remember that restaurants can also seat outdoors. They are including parties of 8. So if you're having a big party coming up, just know that you need to limit it to 8 or get an additional adjacent table 6 feet away. But you can gather up to 8 people in your party. Now, one of the things that we ask our businesses and our guests is to continue doing masking. And again, I think Jody's going to talk a little bit about why our community feels that masks are so important, the project that we have going on in collaboration with the Pagosa Springs Medical Center, and how it can help us. But also remember that day camps can now open, and there are very particular criteria for that. We've been getting a lot of phone calls on short-term rentals and campgrounds. Campgrounds, I verified today, are open, private campgrounds. However, short-term rentals have not been approved yet. We're hoping that the next guidelines will happen on June 1st and short-term rentals will be addressed. I can assure you that the Chamber of Commerce is going on the state's website to make sure that we ask them to include this type of business in their next guidelines. We feel that it's very important for our community to make sure that that happens. And so lots of changes going on. Please support our local businesses and continue either to take out if you feel that you are uncomfortable going to dine-in service yet, regardless of whether it's in or out. Inside or outside, you can still take out. But if you really want to gather with your friends because you haven't seen them for a while, you can go to have the dine-in experience. The other thing, and I'm going to turn it over to Jody now and then kind of wrap up. This is a wonderful collaborative project between the Pagosa Springs Medical Center and the Chamber of Commerce. And we received some masks several weeks ago from San Juan Basin Health. The number of masks that we received, we were out, and we limited the number of masks that we received. We were out in less than an hour. Well, we have about 10 times that amount now, thanks to the hospital and their efforts in securing these masks. And we hope that we will be able to get them to the businesses. We already have a waiting list from the last time that we ordered. But my part of this whole project is looking for volunteers and sewers. So Jody, welcome. Jody is also the outgoing president of the Pagosa Springs Community Development Corporation, and just publicly want to thank you for all your hard work, juggling everything that you've been juggling at the hospital, as well as your presidency with the CDC. Just a very valuable community member, and we thank you for everything you're doing. But this is a great project that is helping. Is it mostly our rural hospitals, or is it just hospitals in general?
It is for the program. How we ended up with these mask kits is the Colorado Hospital Association, through Heart for Heroes, and I think Hillary's going to put that up in the notes, donated 4,000 kits to our area in anticipation of our community being masked up. Our CEO, Rhonda Webb, is it has asked that everybody in the community mask up. It's not a governor's order, but a recommendation that everyone be masked. And the reason for that is it doesn't prevent you from getting COVID-19, but it's all about the droplets. It will stop the spread of droplets, protecting you, Mary Jo, and your mask protecting from your droplets. And so, we don't know a lot about do all the tests work, do all the antigen tests work, what causes it, does it live on surfaces, does it not live? I mean, the data is confusing and conflicting. So, but one thing we do know, that communities, when they wash their hands, when they social distance, and when people wear masks, there is a flattening of the curve. I know you've heard that over and over again.
Sure.
And that is very successful. So in the very beginning of this, end of February, beginning of March, everybody heard of, oh, we're going to get all this aid, all these masks, and everything's going to be flown in. And that never really happened. And we had to access the consumer supply chain to get medical supplies and personal protection equipment, masks, gowns. You've heard of N95 masks. I've been test fitted with a N95 mask. That means when my coworkers, should they, which we hope never happens, have to be quarantined from their work, from doing their service here, and might potentially catch it, then I would be the second wave, and that's not a good thing. But that's what the N95 masks are. Surgeries are happening now with all the staff wearing N95 masks, and it's really a challenge. But anyway, with these masks, the kits came so in a form that people who know how to sew, and if you've never tried sewing before, it's a really easy pattern. I'm a sewer. And so this is the material. It's a thick, high quality material. It comes with the patterns. Mary Jo has a pattern, and if you, and she can email it to you, I can email it to you. And you fold it. It's a batik with a high through count, non-gender specific face mask. And it's done with bias tape. And there's people have a preference of elastic over bias tape, but if you have hearing aids, the tie masks are much easier to use than the elastic N95 ear loops. And the guidance is when you're within 6 foot of somebody in public, you need to be wearing a mask. And so that's why I'm always ear looped here. My office is right by the time clock down Administration Hall. And any second, someone could pop in and start talking, and I will have to mask up. And when my door's open, I wear my mask. So we thank the Colorado Hospital Association, Angel Flight. They're a group of people who fly, do humanitarian flights, and they flew them in with booties and the hair. They look like hairnets, but they're not. They're surgical hats that we wear in surgery. And we're working very hard to have 90 days of regular business personal protection equipment. And they've been helpful in working towards getting us that equipment. So do you have any questions?
Okay, well,
Do you have questions?
this is a great program, and we really appreciate it. And so sewers need it. If you let's go ahead, Jody.
Talking to Hillary about this ahead of time. When I grow up, I want to retire and knit and sew. And sometimes there are churches that have people who can sew. Our local Stitcher group that meets on Fridays, they used to meet at the hospital and they met at the Tennyson building. They have already sewn 2,500 masks to mask at the hospital. Our employees wear those masks, their families, and I know you've gotten some, Mary Jo.
I have.
through the emergency operations command structure. So so they're a little tired right now, but I know there's a lot of sewers out there, and even if and if you wanted to try sewing them, it's really a simple pattern.
Great. Well, we do have boxes of masks available. Typically, they come in about a box of 100. But if you need to sew less or more, we've got them for you, and we can continue to supply. And we really want to try and accommodate the businesses that have already requested masks. So thank you, Jody. We really appreciate it. And if anybody out there wants to sew or has a friend that wants to sew, please give us a call. And that number will come back up on the screen. It just called the Chamber of Commerce. So we're there. Thank you, Jody, for joining us this week.
Thank you. We have, I have, out of the 4,000, it took me 1 day to get rid of 2,000. So I still have 2,000 back in my office, up against the wall. There they are.
Okay.
So call if you need.
Exactly. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jody. So remember, everybody, some new guidelines coming into place. And then I also want to remind our business community that there is still SBA or PPP money that is available. So we in the Sun this week, tomorrow, there's some websites that you can go to that are really, really helpful. Some worksheets and things that you can fill out. So don't forget, it's not over. And so if you're needing money, do fill out those forms and get with your banker and try and establish that relationship and work through them about getting those PPP funds. That's it for me today. We're really excited about our restaurants being able to open. One more reminder, San Juan Basin Health does have this self-assessment form. I recommend that all businesses do this because it really gives you a great idea of how your business is run and opening back up again, making sure that you're following all the protocols. So thank you all so much, and we will see everybody next Wednesday. Be safe.